Go ahead.
Okay, I'll speak louder. Hello, are we good? Okay, my name is Madison Rainey. It's not, I'm good, okay. It's not a mic, thank you. My name is Madison Rainey and I work at the Carolina Pregnancy Center in Spartanburg in the upstate. And I'm so happy that you all were able to be here today. I just want to take a moment to thank Joshua Putnam and the Palmetto Family Council for putting this together and for all the pro-life groups that have worked so hard to ensure the passage of this bill. At this moment, I just want to take a moment to recognize Alexa Newman, who's going to be our first speaker. She is the director of the Carolina Pregnancy Center.
Good morning, and thank you for being here because your presence makes a difference. Your voice makes a difference. You're here to speak for those who have no voice yet. But I'm here to represent all the crisis pregnancy centers in South Carolina. We have 25 crisis pregnancy centers that are doing the work of seeing these girls, these men that are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. And I just want to tell you how important this bill is from a heartbeat standpoint, because we do ultrasounds at our CPC, and so do many of these behind me. And I can tell you that once that girl sees that heartbeat and hears that heartbeat and sees that baby moving around, it saves lives. And I was listening to Dr. Richard Land the other morning, and he said something that I'd never thought about. He said, have you ever known anybody with 2 beating hearts? No, because that little baby that grows in the womb is a separate little person with its own DNA, its own heartbeat. And so today, we are here to call on the South Carolina Senate to pass the heartbeat bill. Because if we're a nation that says that when our Constitution says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, we cannot have liberty, we cannot pursue happiness unless we have life. So this is the basic right. So thank you for being here. On behalf of all of us that are behind me, thank you for your support. We could not do what we do without your time, your treasures, all that you do for us. We thank you. But now let's all come together and let's get after it. Let's get this bill passed. Thank you.
Well, you know, they said it couldn't be passed in the House, but we passed it. Amen. We have the governor behind us who's going to sign it. Yeah. And I think our senators that are about to go in session need to hear from us that we choose life. Yes. Why don't we say that? We choose life. 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 Thank you.
I don't think this is on, right? Okay, I'll just have to talk like I talk at home, real loud, okay? It is so good to see everybody, and for any of you who were at the South Carolina Citizens for Life Proudly Pro-Life banquet on Friday night, you remember I said that the Death Star for pro-life legislation is often the obstructionist rules of the South Carolina Senate. But what overcame the obstructionist rules of the South Carolina Senate were the people, the rebels who came at the end of the movie. And that was the end of the Death Star. And you have come this morning. Your voice is penetrating these stone walls and hopefully the stone hearts of those who are holding up the heartbeat bill in the South Carolina Senate. And they know who they are. we will know who they are, and all of South Carolina will know who they are when election 2020 comes. South Carolina Citizens for Life is very pleased to join our One Message partners, including Palmetto Family Council, the Crisis of Pregnancy Counseling Centers, the Diocese of Charleston, and the South Carolina Baptists, and others who stand with us. That represents hundreds of thousands of people across this country who say enough is enough. Yep. That's right. We are here, as Alexa has said, as our representative has said, that House Bill 3020, the heartbeat bill, must be passed by the South Carolina Senate this year. It was 30 years ago this year. This is the 30th anniversary of the first pro-life bill being passed in South Carolina. It was parental consent that ensured that our young minor daughters had adult involvement in life-changing decisions for their children and for themselves. Since that time, this General Assembly, this House, and this Senate has passed common sense abortion laws that protect innocent human life and protect the life of women, such as the Born Alive bill that says you cannot discriminate against a child that survives an abortion. Unlike the governor in Virginia that said if the child who was trying to be aborted is alive, put the child on a gurney. Keep the child comfortable, and then let the mother and the doctor and the family and everybody else decide whether to go in and kill the child. That will not happen because of what the South Carolina House and Senate and other governors have done in this state. We also have passed common sense regulations to ensure that women have information they need before making this life-ending and life-changing decision to have an abortion. If you're having surgery, isn't it common sense that you want to know what is being removed from your body, the risk of why it's being removed, and the alternatives to having it removed? Well, until the South Carolina House and Senate and the governor acted, we did not have that in South Carolina, but we have that today. We also have a requirement that women, if an ultrasound is performed, they have a right to the results of that test. That was not required. It's not required in a lot of other states. We also require that women have 24 hours to think about this decision after they get this information, so they will not be pressured by men who want to abandon them to the only decision they think will let them off the hook, which is abortion. These are common sense laws. We also have said that if a child in the course of another crime against the mother is killed, that our prosecutors in this state can charge the felon with 2 crimes, recognizing the life of the unborn child. And finally, last year, all again, common sense. And then in 2016, our House and Senate and our governor signed into law a ban on abortion on demand after 20 weeks. Why? Because common sense, when a child can feel pain, you don't subject the child to an abortion. And this is common sense. We would not subject dogs and cats in this state to pain. And we applaud the House and the Senate for doing what they have done in the past. Now we stand on the threshold of another historic decision. We have an opportunity to restore the most egregious problem with Roe versus Wade. Yes, Roe versus Wade has cost this country 60 million lives. every minute we lose 2.5 children to abortion. And not for the hard cases, for social and economic reasons. And we're losing women, as these crisis pregnancy centers can attest. We're losing women who did not have this information, who did not have the support of many men, who did not have support of families. We're losing women in emotional and psychological and often physical trauma. But we're also losing the sanctity of human life that affects all of us. Yes, it's an inconvenient fact that the child at 21 days after conception has a detectable heartbeat. But since we now know that, I want to ask all of you a question. If our General Assembly, and does not at this moment, say if you have a heartbeat, a clear, objective, scientifically based standard for life, what is to make you think that your own heartbeat will be protected when you, for a social or economic reason, become too costly to this society? If we do not, we do not draw a line and say that when you have a heartbeat, you get legal protection, we are all in trouble. As a mother of a grandchild that has epilepsy, as the daughter of a mother who has dementia, and as a husband who has multiple sclerosis, I have to ask this question to our legislators. And I assure you, when election time comes, if you can't protect the heartbeats of the citizens of South Carolina, I'm not sure that your tax code is going to matter.
That's right.
Now today we stand at the threshold. We stand at the threshold to reconnect biological humanity with legal protection, because Roe v. Wade blew that up. Roe v. Wade said you can have an abortion for any reason, no reason, you don't have to give a reason, virtually for all 9 months, and they abandoned the standard of biological humanity as a basis for getting government protection. That leaves all of you at risk. Pro-life people are at risk, pro-choice people are at risk, Democrats are at risk, and Republicans are at risk. We're all at risk. We're all at risk. Now I want to ask you a question. I know people will say, oh, but what are you going to do about the children born in poverty? What are we going to do about the children born in poverty? I know one thing. If the solution is that in the womb a child in poverty can have their heart beat stopped, are we going to stop the heartbeat outside? We don't do that. We don't do this to disabled people. We don't do this to people in poverty. We don't do this. I don't abort my children for my personal aspirations. It's time. The heartbeat is an inconvenient truth, but it's time to act. We have a House that's acted, a Senate Medical Affairs Committee that's acted. We have a governor ready to sign, an attorney general ready to defend this, and we have you, the people, who have come. It's time to act. Thank you.
And what a great state we live in to have a governor who would sign this bill once it reaches his desk. Governor Henry.
Thank you. Thank you. Can y'all hear me all right? Well, what's important is the men and the women in the Senate hear you all right. I want to thank you, beautiful people, for coming to the most beautiful state house in the most beautiful state in the most beautiful country in the world. But we have got work to do. And I want to promise you this, The right to life is fundamental to everything that we stand for. Whether you read in the Constitution, the Declaration of the Independence, or the Bible, it is the right to life that is foundational, profoundly involved in everything good that happens in this world. So I want to tell you, the governor of Virginia said some things the other day. You probably heard them. Well, I'll promise you this, you will never hear such things coming from the governor, your governor of South Carolina. Yeah, one more thing. There have been a lot of steps in this journey. Sometimes steps take a little time, sometimes it moves quickly. My congratulations to the House for moving quickly. It's time now for the Senate to listen to the people of South Carolina, whom everyone in this building works directly for, to listen and pass the heartbeat bill. And I promise you this, whenever they sign it, whenever they pass it, I will sign it for you and for South Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out here today. This is an important issue to stand for life and to stand for those that do not have a voice, and that's what you're doing today. I encourage you to meet with your senators who is in session now and encourage them to support life. Thank you all. God bless.